Making your first YouTube video feels complicated, but it doesn't have to. That is why in this video I am going to reveal to you how to plan, shoot, edit, and post your first YouTube video. And without any further ado, let's set the ball rolling. Now, from that introduction, you will understand that the 4 simple steps to make your first YouTube videos are to plan, to shoot, to edit, and to post. Now, let's unpack each of these points one after another. And for the first point, to plan your video. Now, your plans should include, but not limited to, what your video is all about. That is the main topic of your video, who you are making your videos for, and the problem you are trying to solve in your video. Now, here's how I plan my own video so you could learn and copy from me. What I do is write down my bullet points and a brief overview of the explanations. Now, you don't have to really depend much on quoting what you have written down, because as a teacher, as a tutor, you need to understand that when you sit down to teach, the words or what you are trying to teach are going to come naturally. And this will happen because you already have an understanding of the subject. But then, even if you know everything or know so much, you still have to write something down so you can be specific or remain on the subject or the topic learned. Because if you have not written anything down, you are going to jump from one point to another without being cohesive. So make sure you always write down your points in a bullet form and a brief explanation of each of those points before you sit down to record your video. Do not do full script unless it is actually needed, because when you do full script, you are going to end up trying to memorize everything you wrote down. But if you are depending on the list and the overview of the explanations, you are going to realize that everything is going to flow naturally. And before I leave this point to the next, I want you to have it at the back of your mind that your video must always aim to show a clear solution to the problems you have spotted. Make sure people are able to easily understand the solution to the problems they are trying to solve. And once you are able to do that, you will discover that you will have more audience who will concentrate more on watching your videos every time you drop. Now to the second point, which is to shoot your video. Now what I want you to derive from this point is that you should get started with whatever instrument or tool you have at hand. Your phone is okay for you to start making your YouTube videos. Do not aim for an equipment or tool you do not have, or wait until you are able to purchase the high quality equipment before you start YouTube videos. Your phone, I repeat, is okay for you to get started. But when you are getting started with your phone, I want you to put these points into consideration a lot, because they are going to end up helping you come up with the kind of videos that people will be able to sit down, concentrate, and watch. Now, the 3 things I want you to put into consideration are your sound, your lighting, and your editing tool. Now, for your sound, you can opt for a lapel mic because it will help you to have that sound clarity while recording. It is not much expensive, but then if you are not able to purchase a lapel mic, you can get started with the sound system in your phone. And then during the post-production, that is the editing process, you can clean the sound a little bit. But if you get started with a lapel mic, it will save you the stress of editing the sound during post-production. And now, the second thing you have to consider is the lighting. Do not record your videos in the dark. If you do not have any lights when you are starting, you can always ensure that you record your videos during the day and where the lighting or the sunlight is very, very clear. Do not go into a shade to record so you do not have those noise in your video. Record under where the sunlight will make your videos to be clear so that people can see you and watch and then derive the solutions they are seeking from their problems in your video. And now lastly, you need to have an editing tool. Most of these editing tools are very free. You don't have to pay for them. Personally, I edit with InShot. And the most important thing you are going to concentrate while editing is your color correction. When you sit down to edit, you cut out the errors you made, those places you went offline or you said things you were not supposed to say, and those places you paused to continue again, you cut them out. Now after cutting them out, you do a color grade, that is color correction on your video. And the color correction I really want you to add to your video is sharpness. Do not go too high. You can stop at from 5 to 10% and then watch how the video is sharpened, so that when you upload your video, you will have that clarity in your image. And now to the third point, editing your videos. Editing your video is all about cutting out the mistakes you made. That is those long pauses, those places you said things you were not supposed to say or you forgot what you wanted to say. And then another important thing during editing is for you to add text. But what I want you to do is to keep everything very simple. Do not want to overdo. Now, in the last point, I already explained color correction, that is color grading, which goes to say that you should not upload your video exactly as you recorded it. Ensure that during the editing process, you add some color effects to your video, and the color effect I do not want you to skip, as I said in the last point, is sharpening your video. Make your video a bit sharp so that it will be clearer for people to sit down and watch it, so that when they are watching it in a big screen, they will not be having those noise that will distract them. And another very important thing I want you to avoid is adding too much cutaways or trying to make your video look fancy like that of established content creators. Now, even if you have access to the tools, you will discover that if you try to add those cutaways or make your videos fancy by adding all those transition or any kind of effects, you will discover that it is going to waste you more time before you can come up with one video. And also, while starting, you won't be having too many people watching your videos, so it's useless if you are wasting that much time or resources to put those fancy stuffs on your video. But as you grow and become established and start making money from the platform, you can then end up purchasing those tools that will help you to be adding the effects and make your video fancy like that of established creators. But while starting out, make sure you keep everything simple, always remembering that the videos you are starting with on YouTube are for practical purposes. You are learning, you are practicing so that you understand the things you did not do well, and then you improve and develop yourself over time. And now to the final step, which is posting your videos. Now, what I really want you to concentrate while posting or before posting your video on YouTube is the thumbnail, because it is this thumbnail that will attract people to click and watch your video. But whatever you are doing, make sure you keep your thumbnail very simple. You can use AI if you know the prompt to generate your thumbnail, but designing your thumbnail is very, very important because it will help you to have control on the things you are going to add to those thumbnails without looking for the prompt you are going to give AI. So personally, I use Canva Pro for designing my own thumbnail. So you can get started with Canva Pro. So you can get started with Canva even if you are not using the Pro version. You can get started with the free version, and then after taking your photograph and removing the background, you then upload it to Canva and use it to design your thumbnail. Another thing that is very important while posting your video is to add your title and description. Make sure you do a keyword research for the title that is going to appear if people are searching for it. And also, in the description, make sure you are not trying to describe everything you said in the video. Leave room for people who are reading your description to want to watch your video, because if you explain everything in the description, there is no need for people to go and watch the full video. So make sure you keep your title and your description very, very simple. Make it SEO friendly so that even if people are searching on Google, your videos will also appear. Finally, making YouTube videos is simple when you are able to follow these 4 steps. That is to plan, to shoot, to edit, and to post. And if this guide made things easier for you, please subscribe, and don't forget, we are trying to build YouTube the real and simple way.